lead discussions with the GPLTU and the Transport Ministry in determining a review of transport fares. We have details on this as a presidential correspondent Elton John Brobe joins us for updates on this development. Also, green bond over the counter trading and derivatives set to be introduced on Ghana Stock Exchange as managers move to boost interest and increase listings.
An exchange, we've come up with various strategies as to how to increase the listings. One is being now very aggressive on promoting listings to the private sector. So we began some virtual meetings.
And also on the program, we talk about technology and the nuances for business growth. Just stay with us. Hello once again, you're welcome to the program. Of course, let's start off with the Ghana Stock Exchange. It is currently working to introduce new markets and programs aimed at increasing listings and boosting public interest. Now, this will include platforms like the green bond market over the counter trading and that of derivatives. The managing director of the exchange, Eko Afeti, who disclosed this, noted that these initiatives could take off before the end of the year, subject to regulatory approvals. He was speaking on PM Express Business Edition with George Riafi.
Two key challenges facing our market, and I always keep them very simple. One is, how do we get more companies listed on the market? How do we get Ghanaian companies to raise capital on this market so that they can impact on the development of the economy? That's very key. Then also, how do we improve liquidity on the market? In other words, how do we make it easy or easier for those who have those shares to be able to trade and get their monies back? Those are the two key challenges that we need to work on. So as an exchange, we've come up with various strategies as to how to increase the listings. One is being now very aggressive on promoting listings to the private sector. So we began some virtual meetings and one-on-one meetings with potential companies, both multinationals and local companies, as well as also engaging government through SIA to look at some of the state-owned enterprises that can utilize the market to raise long-term capital and improve their operations. You know, they all will end up in what people will say job creation, will end up in making sure that the economy develops. So that is why we are looking at that aspect very critically. How do we get more companies on this market? And at the same time, making sure that we can get liquidity. That is, people should not buy and just hold forever. We should be able to make sure that we can get people who buy and sell, so that those who want to sell at any time can get their funds. So some of the other things that we are doing is we are engaging farm managers through MPRA, etc., to make sure that farm managers begin to also play an active role in the equity market. Now they play a very active role in the bond market or fixed income, because it's our pensions, and they also are looking at the risk factors. So if you watch the performance of our market into great detail, you realize that pension funds are beginning to buy some shares on the market.
And that is George Riafi there speaking to the MD of the Ghana Stock Exchange. Let's move over to our very development story. President Akufo-Addo leading discussions with the Trade Ministry together with stakeholders in the transport industry, talking of the GPLTU and the GLTCC regarding a proposed review in transport fares. Our presidential correspondent Elton Brobe joins us via Zoom. Elton, we're grateful that you joined us. President Akufo-Addo leading this discussion. So much to know about. Help us out with the update.
So, Charles, remember that the Transport Coordinating Council some few weeks ago started discussions with the transport unions on ways to fix the new transport fares following the increment in petroleum products. So the first meeting ended on the 5th of May. It was inconclusive. They continued, and last Wednesday, the second meeting came to a close. Also, the meeting was unable to come to a decision on the increment that transport operators should implement. Now, this is because the meeting, according to them, reviewed the cost components, including recent increases in the price of petroleum products, prices among others. For that reason, they could not come to a decision on this particular matter. Now, a motion was tabled to bring clarity to some of the provisions in the Income Tax Amendment Act. The Act, in its current form, suspends and throttles. However, its PIT constitutes part of the cost build-up for the determination of fares. Therefore, they have commenced discussions, that's the Council, with the Ministry of Finance and the Ghana Revenue Authority to bring clarity on application of the income tax. But every economists are saying that they've had enough patience, they are buying fuel at the adjusted price, and for that reason they'll go ahead and then implement their own calculation in terms of percentage on how much passengers should pay. That's informed decision by the president to call this meeting. The meeting is being held behind closed doors. My information is that the GPRTU and the other unions, they are proposing between 15 and 20% increment. On the other hand, some other private unions are also demanding between 30 and 40. Government, I'm told, has tabled before the transport unions a maximum of 10% increment. And this is what President Kufuor is trying to get the transport union to agree, not more than 10% increments. How they will take it, that's the decision we are all waiting to hear from this particular meeting. This meeting, of course, is going to be the final one. After this meeting, there will be a formal announcement by the council announcing the percentage increment in transport fares, as whether the transport unions are going to accept government 10% or they will stick to their between 15 and 20%, or the 30 and 40% that is also being proposed by the other transport unions. This particular meeting will resolve this matter once and for all. Charles.
Of course, we're so grateful, Elton, and of course we shall be keeping an eye on this particular meeting to see how things pan out at the end of the day. Elton Brober is our presidential correspondent, helping us out with updates on the ongoing meeting with the president together with transport operators and the transport ministry over the proposed increase in transport fares. We shall be keeping an eye on this to give you updates as and when we do have them. But away from that, despite the impact of COVID-19 on global economies, remittances to Ghana shot up by 5% to $3.6 billion last year. Now, that's a disclosure by the World Bank's 2021 Migration and Development Report, of which Charles Nixon has more in this report.
With the exception of Nigeria, where there was a significant decline in remittances, foreign inflows to Africa went up by 2.3%. According to the report, Ghana was ranked second behind Africa's most populous nation, benefiting significantly from remittance flows last year. There are hundreds of thousands of Ghanaians residing in the United States, United Kingdom, Germany and France who remit funds regularly to their families, loved ones and relations in the country. During the COVID-19 pandemic, where most of these economies were locked down for greater periods, Ghanaians in the diaspora were not perturbed by continuing to send monies to their families and friends back home in Ghana. Importantly, the country benefited from the remittance flows as its contribution to gross domestic product was reasonable. Banks were also not left out, as their commissions from the remittances were expected to have gone up. Nonetheless, the report said remittance flows to the region were affected by the COVID-19 pandemic, in particular by restricted mobility measures and the employment situation in the main host countries. Ghana was, however, not much affected, as remittances to urban and rural areas went up slightly.
You're watching The Marketplace. The impact of COVID-19 has come with some positive sides, with a huge demand for online services being one of them. In the wake of this demand, have we seen various businesses migrate onto the platform or even establish new ones? Well, today on the program, we have such discussion as we engage two different players, Gifty Anosika and Williams Quay, for a discussion on matters regarding e-commerce and its business angles. Ladies and gentlemen, we're so grateful that you join us for this particular discussion. Let me start off with you, Gifty. I mean, you are into the Forex market. You've been engaging, industry players within this space. Help us understand the traffic to this market before COVID-19 and the traffic before market now that we are in this pandemic.
Thank you, Charles. Forex has been on and off with Ghana and Africa, especially in Ghana, for a while now. And then before COVID, it wasn't that booming in Ghana. But during COVID, a lot of people were so stranded, and then they were so redundant that they took into online opportunities. And I think the number grew from, I think, is it 5% at the time to 15%. So there are a lot of people doing that, and however, they are not doing it the right way, and they end up being scammed online and stuff like that because of lack of monitoring.
Interesting. William Adom, you are the CEO of Evoke Africa Group, and of course I believe that it has also changed the scenes of doing business within your space when it comes to telemedicine. Help us understand the impact that this has had, you know, the need for you to innovate. If you could kindly unmute your microphone so we could hear you better, William. Even as William does so, I want to bring in Sika once again, because, you know, as you rightly stated, indeed, the traffic has been somewhat balanced, but there has also come responsibilities. And within your space in the Forex market, we've had issues of regulations, issues of the black market. How do we balance in these uncertain times?
We, the government and the regulatory bodies, to see that it's better to become in this environment, and then the needed regulation is done for this sector, because a lot of people are trooping in online and taking up and getting opportunities online, and they're not doing it the right way. And then those that are doing it are also exempting tax, and it's almost making it more like a black market, which we want to debunk, because it's a sector that has a lot of career opportunities for the youth, looking at their unemployment situations in the country. So if it is legitimized and regulated, a lot of people will see the need to tap into this opportunity.
Great. I believe we have William Adom there, the CEO of Evoke Africa. William, just before we had the hitches with your line, wanted to understand from your point of view the impacts that COVID-19 has had positively on the telemedicine industry.
Okay, thank you, Charles, and hi to Sika. So basically, you'd realize that access to healthcare is one of the major challenges in Ghana, and for that matter, in most parts of Africa and the world. And so telemedicine now came about to resolve that issue of access gap. What we are seeing with the COVID situation is that we are now scaling up, and telemedicine, you know, as a preferred, treatment option. You realize that the distribution of health centers are usually it's a huge concentration of health centers, located in the major cities, for instance. So it makes access to rural communities and underprivileged communities very, very difficult. And so telemedicine has basically came about to resolve some of these challenges. For instance, we have Novartis setting up what do you call it? A pilot program in Amansia in the Ashanti region, for instance, where rural communities are being taken care of. We also know that some of the private hospitals in Accra and for that matter, other parts of Ghana are also scaling up telemedicine in their facilities. Not to mention that, yes, it comes with some challenges that we can speak of later. But I think that COVID has heightened the need for us to embrace fully and wholly the telemedicine concept. And I think the industry is on the right path to doing so.
It's interesting you made this particular point, because you're also going to be organizing the Future of Healthcare Summit, and this also falls within the purview of telemedicine. What exactly should we be expecting out of this particular summit in terms of the demand for the sector and the responsibility that comes with this particular demand?
Fantastic. So you realize that technology is basically shaping all industry verticals, and healthcare industry is not exclusive.
I'm afraid we have lost William there, but Sika, if you could hear me.
All forms of technology. Yeah, Charles, I can hear you.
Yeah, continue, please.
So in healthcare, for instance, we are seeing technology being scaled up or advanced to basically improve the sector. And so for the Future of Healthcare Summit event, which would hold on July 4th at the Alisa Hotel, we are looking at bringing the health provider and then the health tech entrepreneurs to see what technologies are there that the sector can take advantage of post-COVID. And so we are looking at, hosting about 100 plus senior executives in healthcare who will be discussing the future of healthcare trends and what they mean for all of us, with a stellar lineup of speakers who represent various sectors within the health tech community.
William, from your purview, do you think that the telemedicine industry is prepared for the moment of the times?
Yes and no. Yes, because we have piloted, there's a lot of projects going on, a lot of the hospitals that are basically adopting telemedicine. I also realize that it can be expensive, and sometimes there's a problem with lack of knowledge, by patients who don't fully understand the essence of telemedicine. Data is another issue. For instance, when you go to the rural communities and even within the urban communities, data can be expensive, and so data becomes a problem. And so much as, yes, there's a lot being done and we are seeing acceleration, we also believe that there are challenges, real challenges that we must confront. And it's one of the reasons that the event also comes in to basically bring stakeholders together to see how we can conversate to basically bring about solutions to some of these challenges. But yes, indeed, there are opportunities and there are challenges which we'll seek to resolve at the summit.
Well, William and Sika, both of you are coming from different angles. Sika is mostly into cryptocurrencies and forex, online forex trading, whereas you are into telemedicine. If you conjoin your services, one thing that comes clear is the issue of trust in online transactions. Sika, help me understand how critical this is to the expansion of the value chain of online trading.
Sorry, can you come again?
Yeah, the matter of trust comes key whenever we're talking of online transactions. And here in Ghana, we've had our own fair share of, the threat of cybersecurity, bullying, and those kind of fraud-related activities, cybercrime in general. Help me understand the import of trust in ensuring that the value chain of online transactions is streamlined in a much more safer way.
Thank you, Charles. So with that said, I would say that the players in the industry or the players within the e-commerce spectrum should have more like a legitimate and very good relations with each other. I'm saying that to mean that the people on there now are taking advantage of others, and then people are also not researching enough to know what they are going for in terms of whatever they are trying to get into, be it business, be it online education, be it online trading. So it's almost to say that because there's less transaction and face-to-face interaction in terms of e-commerce and online trading in particular, people take advantage of the screen, let me say the screen and the internet, and then take advantage and do whatever they want to do, and then make people victims. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So in my opinion, I would say that we, the players on there, should be able to be accountable and then have integrity with the way we transact businesses. And then the people that are buying into our services and products online should also research enough to know what they are getting themselves into. That's the way legitimacy and trust will be held. Because in Africa, we are not able to change. Okay, so if the people that are daring to change go online to have this opportunity and dare to explore, come into contact with fraudulent activities and scam, it makes it a no-go area. So I think both players should have some sort of accountability to build trust.
Give to Anosika, we're grateful. She's an online forex expert there. Let me end with you, William. How do we, deal with the matter of trust, especially in a very critical sector as telemedicine?
Yes. So Charles, so the idea basically is to have a lot more of government support. Okay, it's a question of policy. And so this kind of question would require a lot more of government support, and which I believe is something that we will discuss as well at the summit.
Great.
And so we look forward to it indeed.
And we look forward to the import of that particular summit. William Edum, we're also grateful that you joined us for the discussion on how to move businesses online as they explore new online trends amid COVID-19. Well, trade between Ghana and the United States of America is presently estimated at about $1.8 billion. The country, however, exports more to the U.S. market than it imports and plans to increase export in cocoa, crude oil and apparel going forward. Here's Simon Mardi, who is the Executive Secretary of the U.S. Chamber of Commerce in Ghana.
In 2019, actually, Ghana exported a lot more to the U.S. Than imported from the U.S. And so Ghana exported over 900 million, and I think that the U.S. did, export to Ghana, a little over 800 million. So those are the figures, and mainly the trade has been in our cocoa products. It was also in minerals and fuel. It was in apparel, which is a big significant market because of agua. For many African countries. And then from the US side, it's been equipment, it's been vehicles, and some other items. I would look at the area of education. Education is critical, and I believe that the US has the best educational structure. And so I would look at, marketing Ghana as a favorable place for U.S. universities that want to set up campuses. So education is critical. Looking at the number of Ghanaians coming out of secondary school who need tertiary education, that's one area that I'll market. I'm also convinced that healthcare is important. Ghana is not just positioning itself as a hub for technology, it's also positioning itself as a hub for healthcare within the sub-region. So, presenting that opportunity to U.S. businesses will be critical for us going forward.
And you're still watching The Marketplace. In the heart of Ibuabo, near Kumasi in the Ashanti region, is a young software developer who is giving back to society by equipping others to become computer literate. We have more on this particular story after this break this day. You're welcome back. Just before the break, I was telling you the story of a software developer in the heart of Kumasi who is giving back to society by equipping others to become computer programmers. Zaidan Mustafa volunteers his time to teach both tertiary and senior high school students how to code so they can be more efficient and effective in problem solving. Mahmoud Mohammed Nuruddin has more in this report.
Programming or software development is a high-income skill. When people become experienced in programming and software development, there are no limits on income opportunities and personal growth.
I'm Mustafa Zidane, and I'm the founder of the Zongo Code Bootcamp. We want to give these guys the tools to make it in the fourth industrial revolution. As we all know, the fourth industrial revolution is about what you can do. It's about what can you build.
That is why Zaidan Mustafa volunteers to teach young students like his age to familiarize themselves with coding.
My name is Firdaus Adam. I'm a first-year student reading BSc Midwifery. And then I came here to learn this because now the world is becoming a global world. You can't just say you are in the health sector, so you wouldn't like to learn something from computing or certain things. So I decided to merge both so that I will fit in wherever I may find myself.
I'm Mohammed Tawfiq Bashir. I'm a professional teacher in Nur Lamin Islamic SHS. I joined the Zongo Bootcamp to learn more about coding. As a person growing up, there are a lot of challenges in the Zongo communities which we all need to come together to solve. I joined the Zongo Bootcamp so that we would be doing critical thinking, reasoning, as well as coming up with a business and also building a web.
Computers are the wheels of today's society. One can live a day without food, but not without computer or smartphone. For this reason, students here want to know how programming works to enhance their appreciation of the world.
I want to be able to create a platform whereby this tricycle business that is going on in Asokwarima municipality, whereby we can bring the stakeholders on board, so that even at your own convenience, wherever you are, you can go on the platform, call for a ride, and things will go smoothly for our people.
We also have Group 4, which are also working on drug detection platform. So what they want to do is they want to solve the problem with fake drugs. Right? They want to enable pharmacists and drug users to be able to scan a QR code in order to know the drug they are taking.
Zaidan calls it a privilege to teach and give back to society. Without programming, computers and the internet do not exist. That means we can't connect with people. A report by Mohammed Nuruddin.
And on that note, we end the marketplace. My name is Charles. It has been a pleasure having you throughout the week. Let's do the same next week. In the meantime, do log on to myjoyonline.com/business to get yourself updated on everything business related. Many thanks once again. Enjoy the rest of our programs.